Well, actually, I'm an independent PR consultant. I'm practicing out of Mumbai, and I'm a communications professional. I help brands and individuals, working professionals, with their brand image and create visibility for them. Now, the reason today I'm here on this platform is because I got very intrigued about concept of SDC, which Anshav had mentioned to me 2 years ago, and I am very much of a believer in that objective. Today, being Women's Day, I would like to share something about why we should start early with our children. So this whole meaning of Women's Day, like not why are we having this Women's Day, and why shouldn't a Women's Day, celebrating a Women's Day, is not a great idea after all. So this is what I'm going to speak about today. So this year's theme being balance for better, I would like to first start with saying that what do we understand by balance? So balance is a situation in which different elements are in equal or correct proportions. Or I would say there is another definition which says balance is a counteract or equal the effect or importance of something. Now the keywords over here being counteract, importance, and equal. So if we consider the entire situation as the society that we live in, the elements of this society are nothing but the people of the society, the different gender which are there in the society. And although there are so many different gender that we are so inclusive society, and to make the entire society wholesome, it is very important to keep a certain balance about these elements. But what is happening is, what I see is that men has always got away with the icing or even the cherry of the cake. So why is this imbalance always there? And what as a society, where we have gone wrong, or were we always this way? So if we go back to the early ages, we know that humans were highly matriarchal in their societies. Humans believed that there were times when women were taught to use spear and sword so that they could hunt for themselves, they can protect themselves and their own children. So this was the idea of the societies earlier, where women didn't need men to provide for them, to keep them safe. Even nomad women were very highly warrior women. But then what happened, the societies evolved and the domestication started to happen, and then women started to stay home, and then the roles and jobs were more defined and boxed as male task and female task, or men task and women task. Now, even if we take from the times from the other countries or other societies, there are musos from China, or Akans from Ghana, or Minangs from Indonesia, which are highly matrilineal and matriarchal societies even today. So I do not understand that in India, when we use a concept called, or a term, when people refer to a term saying that, janana harkate, or orto wale kaam, or orto wali baate, what do they really mean? Because women have been using swords and spears, and they have been able to hunt and keep themselves safe. So if this is what you mean about being women, like women, then yeah, okay, then that's how everybody are, right? So even today, like when we see a little girl who's being very sporty, who's very successful in sport, who hikes, who treks, who rides bicycles, are being referred to as tomboy, very proudly by their parents in front of a guest, that my daughter is very tomboy, she can manage to ride a bike and she plays such a nice football. And I do not understand that, is that a compliment or an insult to their own child? Because when you say a tomboy, that means you're telling your child that you are so good that you're as good as a boy. So you are putting boy or men as a benchmark for women to go out there and reach and achieve it, wherein she is just being another human and doing the same task to her maximum capability and doing her best in that particular field. So why can't we just see little children or little people that we have around us as adults, as humans and individuals than seeing them as boy and a girl. So I would like to try to, because this is not about just telling what's happening. This talk is also about takeaways, and I would like to share with you all certain things that I have thought of, maybe as adults, as parents in the society, we can do to contribute and ensure that this imbalance can fade out as the time goes by. So what we can do is, what children embodies is what we imbibe. So as parents, we have to ensure to always look at children as humans and individuals, and not as girl and boy. To look at the task that we have to finish as task that needs to be done, rather than a task for a boy or a girl. If in India, we have a concept of, the other day I was talking to a friend, and he happens to tell me that when he was a little boy, around 12 years of age, he used to carry this 10 kg of wheat grains to the local neighborhood flour mill, so that the flour could be milled from the grain. And as he grew into his teenage, his father told him that his mother, that you should stop making him do this, because he is not a girl. This is the task you should be giving to the daughter, not to our son. He shouldn't be carrying a 10 kg container too and get it's a domestic chore, so it should be done by the girl. And that was really alarming. Not alarming, but then it was insightful for me to understand that a lot of things in subconscious, we are as parents only imbibing in our children. When they grow up, they become parents just like us. So it is very important to look at task as the task that human beings have to do, rather than a task that a girl should be doing or a boy should be doing. We need to, very importantly in India, tell our girls to work. They have to work even if they don't need the money, because working ensures that they understand the value of money. At the same time, they understand that everybody have to work to be able to have a living, or a comfortable life, or be able to enjoy the good stuff that they do. So even if they are girls, it is not only what, as parents, we are constantly ensuring that they are educated as girls, but we are not telling them that they also need to work. They cannot be depending on their men when they grow up to take care of them. So that is also very important thing that as parents we should be doing. And we are never telling our girls that we are proud of them because they have managed to achieve something which otherwise men do it. We can just normalize that thing by saying, by just appreciating them, but not saying that because you are good at it, but just because you are doing it like a man, like men usually do it. So, and we never pat her back saying that she's as good as boy, or recognize their effort, and rather recognize their effort as an individual effort. So in this, just to wrap up my short talk, I would just like to say that we do not set men as benchmark. They have always got away with the cherry and icing as well. I understand this society is beautiful only and wholesome only when it is there is a balance of all gender with equal and correct proportion. And
society is changing, Dolly. So I think that is the first step towards this.
Yes, it is happening. But at an adult level, what we are doing is we are not ensuring that the children are being treated equally. At a lot of times, we do treat our children as a boy or a girl. So then that is something that we have to change, and I can only see that only balanced beginnings leads to better endings. So really what my takeaway for this entire.
So this is Anil here. I have a question. So what's the root of the problem? Is it the teachers teaching in a classroom, for example, boys and girls, they're mixed? Do they do this segregation, or is it the parents? So if we have to address this problem, do we go to the root of the problem, which is the parents, right? Parents are teaching girls to do things certain ways, men to do certain things certain ways, or is it society? For example, uncles, aunties, are they saying, because they're senior to us, and maybe they are saying, oh, it's a girl's job, oh, it's a boy's job. Or there's certain ways of tackling this. It's like, for example, a newly married couple, husband and wife both work. Do they have joint bank accounts, or do they have separate bank accounts? For example, let's say the working girl wants to buy a pair of shoes. Does she have to consult the husband? Yes or no? Or it's her money, she should buy what she wants. Or does the husband say, no, you're not buying it because I'm the man of the house, you do what I say? These sort of things. I understand that the economy is growing and we have a better, if you like, educational type people coming straight from university. They're understanding the concepts, for example, etiquette in a restaurant, how to treat a waiter, the simple things. The older generation would do things differently. The newer generation would do things differently. So my question is, how do we tackle the root problem? Is it having sessions with parents or at school where the children are listening to this? Because then the children would ultimately go back to the parents and say, I've been taught this at school. Men and women are equal. You shouldn't segregate them, that kind of thing. So I guess it's an open discussion question, because India is vast. Where do you start, right?
Yeah, actually, it's a good question, because we have been always struggling, and there are always, we have seen a lot of contradictions in the way of teachings in the school or vis-a-vis at home. And a lot of times, when we say certain things to our children, they will come up and say that, but this is not what my teacher taught. And a lot of times they listen to teachers more than they would listen to their own parents, because there is that factor of fear and that they have, where they know that they have to obey and listen to what teachers say, wherein with parents they can get away with excuses and with all sorts of reasoning. So but then I still believe, as parents, it is very important, and moreover, more than parents, it is mothers. I completely feel that it is mother who should be doing it. As I was telling you about this friend of mine who's a man now, and as a child, as a little boy, he went and did help his mom in chores. And then when I was telling him that, yeah, that's great, your mom taught you things that a girl should be doing it, ideally in our society. And my father, on the other hand, was such a nice, he believed in the same concept, and he taught me how to open a bank account, and he taught me how to write a check. So he came up to me and said, wow, that's great, but then that's what also my mom taught me. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, okay, you win, okay. So then, yeah, so I believe that it should be parents, because his mom, I can see who is not very educated for the society that we live in, but at the same time, the ideology, the mindset was much ahead of her time, who's right now in her late 60s. So she ensured the boy knows how to open a bank account, at the same time ensure how to cook his meal, because my father always tells me that girls should learn to cook food, so that like they can ensure that everybody at home is fed. And then I was like, I think everybody should know to cook, because everybody has got hunger. So everybody who has a tummy should know how to cook food, right? So then I completely feel that it should be from the homes, and eventually the teachers are also parents. So then if we start educating parents, then we can only hope that it can just roll on to the academic system as well, the education system.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is parents, because parents have a certain mindset because they've been taught from their parents and their parents, and the chain goes on. It needs to be broken at some point to say, this is the new dilemma that we're facing, and this is how we should tackle it. So I think you're right. Whether the school, the principal invites parents in. I'll give you an example. The internet, right? Everybody has a phone. Kids as young as 5, 6 have a phone. Do parents know how vulnerable these kids are? For example, there's child abuse, right, on Facebook. There's people know where you're going. Do parents actually know what their kids are doing on their mobile phones? In general, probably not. 80% of people probably don't know what their kids are doing. So I went on a course led by my school that said parents on the internet, and it educated. I mean, I work in IT, so I know exactly what my kids are doing, and I know who they're talking to, because I can. There are applications that I I know that I've paid for, that I can see what they're doing, who they're talking to, what pictures they're sending, and that's quite clear. But as a parent who is not educated, do you know really what your kids are doing in terms of who they're talking to, the pictures they're sending, the emails they're getting from, it could be phishing, all sorts of things. So I went on this course, and my wife is not internet savvy. She doesn't know, but we learned so much about how to track your kids, what they're doing. It's not about invading their privacy, but it's more about protecting your child and understanding that, you know what, this is right, this is wrong. And if the parents can teach this to the child, then surely that's a better way, because kids are going to listen to their parents more than somebody else, maybe a school teacher who might not know the exact information. But I think it's a good way to go through the parents, whether it's arrange a course, go to school, arrange something in a hall, and to understand the differences.
Yeah, because I also believe that every parent understands how their own child needs to be communicated with, and the kind of language that we use at home, which makes them, like certain references that we have only in our family. So it becomes very easy and understandable for a child from a child's point of view. We can use the instances from home that we can, that make them better understand that what is the point that we are trying to get across. So I completely believe it should be starting from home. It should be starting really early. And as you said, the gadgets are one of the biggest concern right now the parents are having, including myself. Whenever I'm being a working woman, when my child is left home on a Saturday like today, and my once I get back home, the first thing I would be asking my parents who are like watching and taking care of him, that how many hours was he there on the phone today? Have you downloaded any new games? What was he doing with the computer? So it is a concern. So it is very important for us to keep them occupied in something more productive, more constructive, which can contribute in their development rather than something which is just, affecting them negatively.
Yeah, agree. And going back to the skills development centres, these are probably the centres that we need to incorporate, build, or partner with, so that parents, school teachers even, can all come along and we can give this presentation, this type of talk, to teach the next generation of parents and kids to understand.
Okay, great. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anil. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
So, Ansha, please take over.
Sorry, I was just taking a bite. So, okay, so I think Dolly, what you mentioned is very right, that the whole society needs to change, and somehow the empowering women concept itself is not actually very comfortable to me, because you cannot empower somebody because they're already empowered. I mean, see, it's actually a false statement. I don't know how do you put it, but you are saying that you empower a woman while the surroundings around it or the women are not worthwhile. There are not enough opportunities for them. The psychologies, the mindset is not changing. And like one of the example which you put up about having a food, making a food at home. I know, it's going to be a problem probably for me later. But the point here is that even though we have an expectation in our family that the women of the house will take care of the food preparations, and ironically, the best chefs in the world are all males. So when that kind of situations are there, why are we even thinking about that? I think it's a mindset change, because I also come from a background which was always like, I've seen my mother working whole day and night, whatever is for the home, and my father used to go out and work, and probably that is what the older society is. And the way the situations are changing now, women are also working very hard, equally hard, I would say, and they have additional responsibilities too, which we have given it to them. In some of the urban areas like Mumbai, Delhi, of course, it's not that prevalent. Men are also changing, but the course, I think the programs like The Successful Male, which Ron was mentioning in the start of the talk, is going to revolutionize the world. And I think bringing those kind of programs on Bringle's platform would be more beneficial and important for us to do a complete holistic environmental change. So right from your children to catch them young and ensure that they get the right mindset at as early as possible, to develop or to ensure a man is successful, because if they are successful, they are healthy, they are happy, there are high chances that they will start appreciating women and provide them more, give them the kind of better environment. And on the third side, we will have to have opportunities for women to really grow to the next level and actually challenge their own, strengths at times, so that they can challenge themselves that yes, they can also do something in life. And it's not that they don't have a potential. It's only about, I think, we have not challenged them enough and provided that opportunities for them. So like we always say that, once you have a son or somebody, it will go to army or air force. But had we really thought about the same for the girl? Yes, today probably, but not in general times. So women are making their marks in every part of the world and every different fields. So I think this is a time when we should leverage this theme to a much larger ecosystem, which is like balance for better. That's what I think about it.
And Anshul, as you rightly mentioned about the successful youth, the one thing I think very interesting about it is that if they will be the best version of what they can be, they'll allow enough space for others to be best of what they can be. So it's about respecting, spaces and respecting that if I'm my best, when you're doing your best and you're happy, you allow other people to be their best. So exactly. That's how you help,
Exactly. So I think I don't want to tag it as a income level scenario, but typically you would have seen the lower strata of, that's a very common thing. I mean, it's there prevalent in everywhere, but you would see that the male of the house is kind of drinking and everything, and they're trying to do. It's because they are frustrated. Yes, they are frustrated, and because of that, they are making that, I would say, throwing that frustration on somebody else, and the easiest bet is their own wife.
Correct.
And children.
So a person who is accomplished or happy or a satisfied person by themselves, they do not have any need to exert any power on someone else to be able to prove their point. So hence, it is important that they allow that space for the person to develop, grow, because they themselves are on the same journey as you rightly mentioned.
If I go a little aggressive, I think all men need they need to be mentally healthy.
Yeah, so I think I would like to introduce Vandana. So Vandana has just joined in. Anil, you have met Vishal. Yeah, just a moment. Sorry.
Hi, Vishal.
Vishal from
Yes.
office in Delhi.
Yes.
The last time when you were in Mumbai.
Yes, I remember.
So Vandana is Vishal's wife, or I would say they're.
I'm the director of AmeriClear. I'm the founder of AmeriClear, and he's.
Yes, I remember. We went to the office. We saw Vishal, correct, at Kanakia.
Yeah. Sorry, I realized my mistake that I've introduced it wrongly. So, and it's in a forum where I should not have done that.
She is the director of AmeriClear and also Vishal's wife.
Yeah.
I see.
So
Nice to meet you.
I did that is because Anil met Vishal and we could not meet Vandana that time. But Vandana is the front runner in all, especially the AmeriClear brand.
Mm-hmm.
And, even in terms of the vegan living which she is promoting and starting up her own chain of restaurants with that. So she herself is a big celebrity. She has been part of a lot of fashion shows, and she has won awards over there. While she of course doesn't claim about it, But apart from that, she did a lot of social work as well in the society. So she has got a variety of things under her belt.
Wonderful, wonderful, impressive.
So Anil, I don't know if you heard, but what she said is that husband is the last achievement which she had.
Yeah, go women, right? I mean, here in England, for example, there's a big thing about equality of pay. Anshav mentioned salary, right? So always it's been women have been lower paid, man and a woman doing the same thing, same job, same objective, same tasks, but the woman is always on a lower salary. So here in England, it's all equal. So this has been going on for a number of years. So I could be doing something, same job as a woman, she's expected to have the same salary. So I don't know if it works in India like that, but it should be exactly the same, equal.
That's the only difference.
Okay, so I don't know if it is gender specific everywhere. At least I have not seen in my corporate life to that extent. The only difference I've seen is that women actually going away from work after their maternity. That's a very common aspect. And not only that, the problem here is as soon as your manager gets to know that you are conceiving, the attitude starts changing.
Yeah.
You're getting married.
Yes.
In my organization, for example,
I'm just going to.
The moment you say you're going on a wedding leave, they start discounting your position by default.
And
that by another 1 year, you'll be again having a baby. So maybe we can't count too much on you now.
In fact, that's a big thing. You know, we have paternal leaves as well. But the way husbands are coming back into the ecosystem, while we understand there is a period which has to be provided to a woman because of the health requirements, and it's the basic requirement, not for just the women, but for the child as well. But I think our society as a whole is not ready for that, and that is where we should really focus upon. And to some extent, I think it has to be internally driven within the women as well, because if they really want to achieve it, they really want to do it, they will do it by one way or the other.
Actually, so, I believe that, you know, the women are, they find difficult, the organization's point of view start changing, or perception of, or opinion of the women who's getting married, or even the gender, the pay parity that we are talking about. It exists only because our society believes that working women are only supplementing the income, or they are just doing it for the hobby. So they do not need that kind of money. But the same job, if it's done by a man, then he is probably providing the entire family. He's shouldering all the responsibilities. So he deserves to be paid that much salary. So I feel even women, when they conceive, it is believed that okay, anyway, she was here just to pass her time, or just to be busy, and now she has got something else to be busy with, so now her focus is going to anyways change and everything. So they do not still are accepting the fact that women are working, because that's what I was saying earlier in my talk, that we have to teach our girls that they have to work to be able to take care of themselves, to provide for themselves. And not only girls, we have to tell boys that this is why the girls work. So there is this equality of understanding why women are there at work. And anyways, Ansha, you told earlier that, we are working towards getting women to work in aviation and, maybe astronomy and things like big high-end.
Various fields, I mean, why not?
But I'm yet to see women, I'm talking about women from the lower strata, where they do not have respectable jobs. They are still working as housemaids because they are not being given opportunities like that. How many women from the lower strata are we seeing working as auto rickshaw driver? How many of them we see working as a butcher? How many the kind of roles that has always been gender biased jobs. So maybe she could be very skilled at driving. Why can't she be an Uber driver? So this is what is happening. So then other day, my mom was just making fun of me that you have lost your cooking skills because you've been busy so much. So I don't know what are you going to do if you lose job and you suddenly lose your job. So I told my mom that okay, mom, if I lose my work, if I lose all my education and skills, I can drive. Maybe I can become a driver, right? So why I have to go and work as a cook or a maid somewhere, you know? So then, yeah, so this is what is happening. So women driving is not seen as a skill. So yeah.
Yes.
Dolly, I have something to add here.
Just introduce.
Sharmila here.
Yes, hello,
Sharmila,
Shamila.
just a
Yeah.
moment. I want to add this point here for everybody. While we are talking about men and women here and how they can support each other, there is another angle to it which Sharmila is going, which you have to think about is a disability. Which is always considered as an inability. And I think Sharmila is one role model for us as well, and of course, inspiration that even having cerebral palsy at the age of 5 years, how she has survived in this world for the last 50 years and have made her mark into with various NGOs, corporates, and she's still continuing that. So she still teaches in Mumbai University. And that's a very important point. And I think, Sharmila, over to you. I just wanted to introduce that factor into it because it is very, very gender neutral.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, what Dolly has been saying about pay parity, about the culture of a role of a girl or a boy. My brothers learned to cook. I didn't. That was something that, yeah, really, I mean, they cook. I don't. Both of them are out of the house. One is in the US, one is in Gurgaon. But I have never learned to cook. I get by. I know I can feed myself, but I don't enter the kitchen out of love for food. I love to eat, but not cook. And it's the same with pay parity. I have never had that issue in my life. I got what I was supposed to. So it was never a question of pushing myself to work more because I needed to be paid more. No, I worked the hours that I needed to, and I got the pay that was due to me. Amjad and I have worked together in SR, and we have seen that there. The issue at my end is attitudes that needed to change, that still need to change across the globe. It is not only in India. Attitudes towards disability, attitudes towards making things easier for people with disabilities. I have never had problems in work areas, but people with more disability than me would have, because we don't have accessible buildings, we don't have accessible education, which is where some of my focus is currently. I'm trying to get books to be made audible so that deaf people can get education. Now, this platform that we have at Bringle is to a large extent accessible. We can have a lot of things here. We already have a lot of things here. available to the blind and the deaf. So this is where I am working at. Aisha.
Thank you so much, Shamila. I think I think a round of applause for you. And thanks.
Thank you, Aisha.
And I don't know how it happens, but I mean, somehow I have always seen that Bringle, when I started off almost around 4 years ago, most of the people who have contributed in this Bringle as a platform, as a support or the ecosystem is mostly women. And I don't know how it has happened, but this is actually has happened like that.
You.
That's what I'm saying. So everywhere it's all, and whatever we're seeing it today, it's all because of them. It's just that I have my own vision, and of course, I'm not able to spend every time over there, complete time into this. But then there are people like, I would say women like you who are there to support. And I'm really glad that I've been invited for this. I mean, of course, this is the entire Bringle team which does it. So even in my Bringle team, I always call Trimurti. So we have 3 women with us who kinds of supports and working at the back to make this blended meetup successful today. So of course we have one man as well. So we have one, so we should not forget that. He's a very important person for us. But then the point here is that it's everybody's effort together which we are trying to do. And Shamila brings in a very important factor of disability or accessibility. And that makes this platform more holistic and more usable in the larger ecosystem. That is where her expertise comes in. She also manages as a Vardhan, the NGO which we promote from Bringle side. And she's the managing director for that. She kind of works out for various initiatives under Vardhan. She runs initiatives on women empowerment and stuff like that on disability. She's developing her team in terms of people who are focusing on disability. So I'm a little digress to the topic because this is actually, our third meetup topic. Disability is not enabling.